Hi, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. It's Monday morning, which means another staking and Masternodes update video, number 22 in the series now. And now I covered a lot of stuff in the video a couple of days ago. You can check that out if you haven't already on what I'm staking and why. A lot of people have been asking me about that. So this week we won't go over those kind of bits and pieces. We'll jump straight into the staking rewards for the previous week. And we'll start up at the top as always with NavCoin. 8.67 coins this week, worth $2.52. Now NavCoin has been going pretty well recently. The last kind of few weeks, we're above the sort of 4% estimated kind of return. So we've been well above that recently. We're doing over a coin a day the last few kind of weeks, so it's ticking along quite nicely. NavCoin, Syndicate 77.7, reliable masternode returns from Syndicate as always, worth $5.97. Neutron 3 stakes last week, worth 40 cents. NeoGas, we're second week now on the new amount, so 191 coins now. That generated 0.31638,004 gas, worth $2.35. Now gas has gone up quite a chunk this week. It was under $6. It's about 7.5, so it's had a really good week. Neo up a little bit as well, not as much, but you know, up a reasonable amount as well. We're always under the predicted amount, so I know that Neo predicts that you should gain around 3.6 to 4% a year. I've never been anywhere like that. We're always up in the sort of high twos really, so I'm not sure if that's just me or other people see the same thing, but quite interesting to note. Might have a look a little bit more into that. BeanCash, 400 BeanCash, basically worth $1.18, down a little bit on the previous kind of weeks. Smartcash 182, so we're back to the normal payment schedule with Smartcash. Obviously last week we had the Smart Rewards, which come in once a month, which artificially kind of pushed the amount of Smartcash we got up, so we had a really good week for Smartcash, but we're back down to the sort of the normal amount from our two Smartnodes, so that was worth $7.21. Linda, really bad week for Linda, 1,600, so we've probably half the amount of coins, maybe not even that, of what we did the week before, worth $1.98, but this is on a staking pool, this is on my node pool. A lot of people within the Discord group are discussing this and saying that the rewards have really dropped off, and the people at my node pool are saying it's because of the kind of the wallet returns that we've been getting more than we should have been kind of getting, but we're down at sort of 33% this week, which is really quite poor. We should be a lot higher than that, so I will keep an eye on this and see how it goes over the next few weeks. Akroma 75.76 coins, $3.79, another decent week. It pays out really reliably. Akroma, payment every day, same time every day, so that's quite nice. PIVX, we got a quarter of a PIVX this week, worth 30 cents, and that's pretty much where it should be. It's around that 5% PIVX, so we're basically where exactly we should be. PIVX is staking on a staking pool, so the rewards are a little bit more stable obviously than staking in your own wallet if you don't have that many coins. And then down here at the bottom, Shard 14.55, this is on my node pool as well. Again, the amount of coins staked down a chunk on last week. We were up around the 170, now we're down to about the 130% mark yearly return. Now Shard is at 300%, should be at 300% at the moment. The block it's on, it drops every 10,000 blocks I think it is, until it reaches a 50% return, probably be sometime later this year, beginning of next year. Anyway, the total worth is up a chunk this week, so we're on now 9,400, so we're up about $800. Excuse me, the general market sentiment's been pretty good this last week. Most coins are up. NeoGas is up probably about 600. Smartcash disappointingly down about $200, so down quite a substantial amount, and it's been down week on week on week. So whereas some of these other coins are now kind of pulling back with the slightly better kind of sort of positive sentiment in the kind of market, I think everything else pretty much across the board is being up over the last kind of week or so, but Smartcash continues to go down. It's a relatively large inflationary coin, not, you know, out of this kind of world, but yeah, a little bit kind of disappointing really with Smartcash and the price of that. So we're down about $200 this week. We were down about $100 the week before, and about $100 the week before that, without even including our staking amounts. So a little bit disappointing there, but overall we're up. Weekly staked amount $26.55, very, very poor staking. I'll just jump over to the graphs. You see down here this is our worst week since I started logging the experiment on a weekly basis. So we're a little bit, last week was an outlier because of the smart rewards payment, but we're down a little bit on the week before that, even though overall we're up a little bit on kind of price on there. So it has been a poor week for rewards, particularly looking at kind of Linda and stuff like that, and the price of Smartcash, you know, really kind of dragging us down a little bit as well. But let's have a look at the overall amount. So this is starting to look a tiny bit more positive now. You wouldn't think so by looking down at these return on investments, but basically this table shows us total cost. This is when we actually purchased the coin. There's a rough staking start date or Masternodes start date here. This isn't when I necessarily purchase the coins, and for some of these, such as NeoGas, I've purchased coins in different chunks, same with kind of NavCoin and Syndicate and others. But it gives you a broad sort of overview of when I kind of started with these coins. Somebody pointed out on my last video that Shard has been around a lot longer than I mentioned. So Akroma is a pretty recent coin, and I said Shard was fairly recent. Now the reason I said that was because I can't get data going back more than 4 months. There doesn't seem to be any kind of price data going back more than 4 months, but apparently it started almost 8 months ago, Shard. So yeah, apologies for that. I didn't mean to kind of try and deceive anybody, but let's have a look just down the ROI. So we're up a little bit. Overall we were down about 70%, I think. Let's just take a quick glance at that. So this was last week, 70.29%, and we're now down to 67.5. So we've gained almost 3% on our return on investment. Some coins doing better than others. Obviously Neutron here, as I mentioned kind of last week, it's appalling, down 96%, but a lot of the other ones sort of pulling back a little bit. We don't have as many. We've only got one up here, NavCoin, in the 70s now. A lot of the ones that were in the 70s now pulling back into the 60s. In terms of what I've done this week in terms of realized profit, sold a few more Syndicate a few days ago, so that's increased by about $20 or so, and I sold a little bit of Linda yesterday, so there's a little bit more Linda that's been realized. So we don't have as much Linda as of kind of yesterday, which shouldn't really have affected our staking massively. Anyway, yeah, return on investment, PIVX is probably the kind of best, even though it doesn't really stake. I haven't been staking for much more than a few weeks. It hasn't lost as much price, but I bought some of this PIVX last year, sort of middle of last year. So the price has gone up, and then we've kind of like gone through that kind of cycle coming back down again. Linda's not been too bad, 37% down. A lot of the others, you know, broadly in line with what you would have expected. So anything that's down sort of 60-odd% from sort of earlier this year, so like Syndicate, you would expect that because Bitcoin's probably down a similarish amount. And then the more recent coins at the bottom, Akroma down quite a chunk considering I only started in June, but that was a bit of a kind of flyer. It's a very tiny kind of coin. And then Shard, which, as I mentioned before, I'm reliably informed is a bit older than I thought it was, down about 33%, so not that poor. Very large inflation at the moment, but that will be decreasing over the next few months. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. But that's it for this week, so have a great week, and hopefully I will see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.